You know, Probably almost a month ago, I put out a video that on China was deliberately trying to kill white America with fentanyl. And YouTube, ladies and gentlemen, demonetized that video. But the funny part is, from that time that I put the video out, there's been several articles making the same exact accusation. This drug plague is going on because this is a power struggle between the West and China. China wants world domination. That's what they want. And right now, America is in their way. The easiest way to get rid of Americans is through drugs. They're killing you through drugs. Okay? They don't have to bomb America. All they got to do is flood your streets with fentanyl. And you'll take care of the rest on your own because there's such big junkies over here in the United States. But let's get into this article. I just find it hilarious that all of these articles have since come out from the time I did that video. Christie, China exporting fentanyl to kill our people. This is November 28th, 2017. And by the way, they just appointed Kellyanne Conway as the opioid czar. And listen, it was not even probably like earlier this year, she said people just need to have a stronger will to get off of the drugs. She sound like the Russian plan, don't it? Trust me, she ain't going to do any more than Christie or anyone else in that position. But let's move on. It should say former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie said Tuesday that China exports of fentanyl are killing dozens of Americans each day, and said more money is needed to prevent the dangerous opioid from entering the country. You are sending this to our country to kill our people. That's exactly what China's doing, Christie said of China at a Tuesday hearing of the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee in Baltimore, Maryland. Christie led a commission that sent a report to Trump on how to combat the opioid plague, which federal data shows killed 71 a day. That was back then. But, I think the last number I heard was like 175 a day. It could be even higher than that now because that was a few months ago. Fentanyl is a drug that is more potent than heroin, has been responsible for spiking of opioid deaths in recent years. A major problem has been the synthetic version of the drug have been hitting the streets. The first use can lead to death, Christie said. It is so lethal that law enforcement officers who come to crime scenes have to be careful. Christie called fentanyl a Chinese problem, since most of it comes from China. That's exactly right. And don't think that these Chinese people in this country are not involved with that shit. You can best believe they are. But I forgot, they're the model citizens in the US. You keep sitting around believing that while they kill your ass. Christie called for an increase in border security and from the U.S. Postal Service to crack down on shipments. We don't have the level of enforcement needed, he said. Now, just think about this. You know how convenient it is for fentanyl to come from China all written in Chinese and going to one of the Chinatowns in the US, and you don't suspect that there's a problem, but that's where distribution is taking place. Oh man, it's too easy. So we don't have the level of enforcement needed, he said. The death rate from synthetic painkillers like fentanyl skyrocketed by 73% from 2014 to 2015, according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. China banned the manufacture and sale of 4 variations of the drug in March, according to CNN. But federal authorities still report that they can get fentanyl from China. For instance, federal authorities recently bought fentanyl off the dark web back in May, and the drugs were shipped from China. Christie said more funding needed to fight the epidemic. He pointed to the $1 billion made available in the 21st Century Cures Act last year. But he said that isn't anywhere near enough. Well, you know, Trump don't want to give any more new funding towards this drug plague. That's why it is a public health emergency and not a national emergency, because he doesn't want to give up all the money. In New Jersey, we are spending 500 million, he said. I'm not quite frankly impressed with 1 billion from the federal government for the nation. Representative Elijah Cummings of Maryland said a major problem is the price of the overdose antidote called naloxone. I know they're spending a fortune on that stuff. You're talking about probably thousands of people when you add up all the states that are running around with Narcan just on a regular basis are getting hit with doses of naloxone. Can you imagine the price that's being spent nationwide on that alone? You know it's got to be outrageous. You know it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's get on with the article. The price was jacked up at the very time the first responders were trying to get it, he said. Christie responded that he wants all first responders to have naloxone. He said the best way to get federal and local governments to band together to make bulk purchases of naloxone at a lower price. We do this in other areas, though through bulk purchasing. There is no reason we shouldn't be able to do this with naloxone, he said. So he is really not saying anything that I did not say as far as China being in on killing Americans on purpose. And I'm telling you, I said it before, I'll say it again, even if they demonetize this video too, China is killing off white America for world domination. Hey, you can take it or leave it, but I'm telling you, that's the reason why. Please leave your comment and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. Peace, family.